Today we're going to continue looking at rounding, and we're going to be looking at rounding to a significant figure. So first we're going to have a bit of a recap on rounding to a decimal place. So I want you to pause the video and round this number to 2 decimal places. And to round to 2 decimal places, we look for the second number after the decimal place, which is our 4. So we know that our number is going to be between 5.34 and 5.35. So then what we do is we look to the neighbour and see, is that bigger or smaller than the number 5? And it's larger than the number 5, so we round upwards, so we know that our answer is 5.35. So now we're going to introduce the concept of significant figures. And for numbers which are greater than 1, it's actually quite simple to do. So for example, if we have the number 607, it's got 1, 2, 3 places, so we say it's got 3 significant figures. I'll just shorten that to S. F for now, 3 significant figures. And we have to remember to include decimal places in this as well. So if we had 32.45, for example, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 places, so we'll say it's got 4 significant figures. So it's just the number of places it has. Where it starts to get a little bit more tricky is when we look at numbers less than 1. So for example, if we have the number 0.023, now if we're looking for the number of significant figures, well, these first 2 are zeros, so they don't count just because they are telling us how far from the decimal point our number is. So they don't actually tell us a value. So this number would have 2 significant figures. We say it's got 2 significant figures, 2 SF. We'll try another example. Let's say we have 0.0326. Well, we don't count this one, we say it's got 1, 2, 3 significant figures, 3 S, F. So now we're going to look at how we use significant figures to round numbers. So we've got this number here, and we're wanting to round it to 2 significant figures. So we can see the first 2 significant figures are 5 and 4. So just like you've done previously with rounding to a given place, we know that this number is going to be between 54000, 54,000, and 55000. And now this becomes just the same as rounding to the nearest thousand, which you've done before. So you look at the neighbour and see if it is larger or smaller than 5, and we can see it's the number 6, so we know that our number will be rounded to 55,000 to 2 significant figures. So now here's an example for you to do. If we have the number 276 0, I want you to round this number to the nearest 2 significant figures. And our answer is 2800 to 2 significant figures, SF. Now for numbers less than 0, it's a little bit more complicated. This question is asking us to round this number here to 3 significant figures. So what you need to remember is the first two zeros here don't count as significant figures. They're just placeholders. They're telling us the size of the number. So our first significant figure is the number 6, our second significant figure is the number 6, and our third significant figure is the number 4. Okay, so if we're going to round this to 3 significant figures, we need to go to our third significant figure here. So we know that our number is going to be between 0.0664 and 0.0665. Okay, so exactly as before, we look to our neighbour, and it's a 3. So we're going to see, is the 3 bigger or smaller than 5? Well, of course it's smaller than 5, so we're going to round down, and this will be our answer. So we can say that to 3 significant figures, this is 0.0664 to 3SF. Okay, so most important thing is remember you're not including these zeros at the start in your significant figures. So I will give you one to practice on. Now, let's say we have the number 0.00342, and I want you to round this to 2 significant figures. So what we do, we look for the first 2 significant figures, so we don't count the zeros, we have 3 and 4, so we know it's going to be between 0.0034 and 0.0035. We look at the neighbour, and it's 2, so we know our answer is going to be 0.0034 to 2 significant figures.